the best guys in the whole world. Coach, you and I are going to have a discussion on the podium. So I need you to come on up, okay? You want to help him up here? We're going to lean on the podium, talk a little bit. Now, while he's coming up, this good-looking guy in the yellow shirt is Kevin. That's Coach's little boy. Okay? Yeah.
That'd be too much.
Right here, okay? Now, I want his daughter to stand up because she's gorgeous. Krista, stand up. Look at that. Now, this man wouldn't be anywhere without this lady. And there's Phyllis. Stand up, and we love you beyond belief. Here she is. Okay, so now, Coach, I got a little story to tell you. You ready? Okay, you and I were in the Air Force. Right. My job in the Air Force was putting toilet paper on the airplanes. I had my own truck. Put toilet paper, Mercurical, they couldn't go without me. Okay, I loved it. Now, what I want to know is what was your job in the Air Force?
Well, I got my first experience teaching in the Air Force. I went in to be a cadet flyer, and when I got my physical, I needed glasses. So they said, you can't be flying an airplane in the Air Force with glasses. So I had to do something else. And I had written in my thing when I went in, that I was a member of the Amateur Radio Club in Valley City High School. And we knew Morse code, and we built these crystal sets where you could broadcast to your friends around the town. And they said, good for you, and we're looking for you guys like you. So they sent me to school to learn more about radio. And I ended up being a teacher for the radio operators on B-17 bombers, basically the ones that went to England. And that's where I spent my life. I was in for 3 years, and I spent 2 years teaching the radios in these radio operators. That was interesting.
We don't know you're a good teacher. So where was it that you had basic training? Do you remember?
I had basic training in Chinook Field, Illinois, and in Wichita Falls, Texas.
Okay, so when I went in the Air Force, I was skinny and absolutely gorgeous. And you were blonde, blue-eyed, and 6'4", right? Okay, so now I want to explain to you, Coach, you and I are so outranked tonight. Oh, it's just disgusting. No, this is wonderful. I'm going to tell you a story. We're honored to have this next gentleman join us. After graduating from Oak Grove, he attended NDSU, and there was an ROTC program there. He came out as a commissioned second lieutenant. He entered the U.S. Army, becoming a helicopter. He became a helicopter pilot, and he served in Vietnam. Upon completion of active duty, he joined the North Dakota National Guard to continue flying, and worked full-time as an engineer heading their construction and facilities program. He retired from the National Guard in 2002 as a Brigadier General. Please welcome to the podium Brigadier General Ron Gangsas, class of '59. This is just embarrassing. I was an airman second, and I got a general here. General, is it okay if I say a couple things?
There's a danger in providing her information.
Okay, what I want to know is, what aircraft have you flown since Vietnam? What kind?
Well, I'm going to pass that.
Okay.
And I just want to say a few words here to the coach. You know, it's a very extreme honor for me to be up here with this gentleman who is one individual from the greatest generation. And, you know, I thank you for all your service to Oak Grove, and I thank you for your service to our great country. And sir, I salute you.
Yes. We have a couple of more. And by the way, I have a secret. This is a story that was told to me by Jing Langseth in our conversation on the phone a couple weeks ago. And what he said was, in his story that you'll get eventually, is that he was a manager and a production manager of the company that developed the Kevlar helmet, and told me when he was talking to this man that he used to sit on his helmet in the helicopter because they were getting shot up from below. Does that make sense? Wow. Good job. Good thinking. Okay, our next guest is a Hall of Famer from Oak Grove too, one of our idols from 1955. This is a man who just marched in 2 different 4th of July parades, and I think he has 4 Hall of Fame plaques to his credit. This past July, he was really busy. Well, please come to the podium, Glenn Tuck Leverson. So, Mr. Leverson, what branch were you in?
I was in the U.S. Army. I was drafted out of college in 1957, and spent 2 years in the service, and then came back to return to college.
Good job. I'm proud of you. We're all proud of you.
Thank you.
You're going to escort Coach up when we do our little tribute in a minute.
Right.
I need to know if there's anything else you want to say about when you were in the service. Did you love basic training?
I love basic training. See, Coach got me ready for it. He had me doing 50 push-ups every night. There used to be a pole out there. He said, before you go to bed and say your prayers, get down and do your 50 push-ups a night. And I did. And so I was doing a lot of push-ups and got in shape before I got there, so it wasn't too tough on me. But it was the only time in my life that I ended up in the hospital, and thank the good Lord, I've never had to have an operation in my life. I had a few broken bones playing ball and stuff, but I got pneumonia during basic training, and I'll never forget it because I was in the 7th week of basic training, and we've been out on cold weather training up in Colorado near Pikes Peak. And my air mat just got a hole in it, and I was laying on the ground freezing, but I had to march back, and ended up with pneumonia, and I just prayed and asked to get out there because I thought I was going to get recycled and have to go through it again. And my twin brother was in with me, and I didn't want to have to do it over again, even though I loved every minute of it. But I didn't want any more of it, and so I just prayed, and in about 4 days they let me get out, and I went back to my group. And while I was there, a lot of people in the hospital at that time, they were doing everything possible they could do to keep their temperatures rising and falling and rising and falling so they could stand there, because they thought it was a great deal to be in the hospital instead of being out doing things of basic training. So they'd rub their thermometer on the blankets and heat it up with a cigarette lighter or whatever. I was doing everything I could to keep my temperature down, but I was able to get out and finish basic training. Now that's a long story, but I hope they don't give me the mic too many more times, because I'm very known during my coaching career for giving a 3-minute speech in 30 minutes, so you guys will be here till tomorrow.
Okay, all I want you to do is one more thing, and there's 3 words to it. What did Coach used to say to you? 3 words.
I can't say it in 3 words. Back to my 30-minute speech, because I want to say one thing. I was supposed to ask Coach a couple questions.
Later.
Oh, I am?
Not later, not now, do that later. Later. Right now, there's one thing he
Coach
said.
said, get to bed at 9 o'clock.
Oh, and he also said, shoot the ball.
Oh, I can't talk about that right now, because that's one thing he said to me for 60 years, is that, why didn't you shoot the ball? Because we were playing against Castleton, and in the district finals, and they called the sixth time out, because we were pressing them and trapped them, and their coach had the kid call a timeout, and it was their sixth time out, and they were ahead by 2. So I got to go to the free throw line. I made the 2 free throws to tie the game, and we had about a minute to play, and coach called a timeout and said, we're going to run it down to 20 seconds, Brent. Held the ball, 20 seconds left, call a timeout. He said, I want you to get the ball, take the ball to the basket, and take a shot. I was very coachable because I'd have run through a wall for this guy. But I got the ball, beat the guy that was guarding me, and took off to the basket. And the center of the Castleton jumped out on me, forced me to the baseline. I went up to shoot the ball, and when he came out on me, Dave Vold was standing right under the basket, wide open. So instead of shoot, I passed him the ball. He turned, shot the ball, went up on the rim, came back down, didn't go in. Guy came across the lane and blocked him off. He tried to rebound. They fouled him. He went down, made a free throw. Game was over. So I apologize to this day. 60 years later, I love this man with all my heart. If I had it to do, I know what he wanted me to do. But I felt that we could win the game getting the ball to Joe. And so it didn't work that way. But he's a state champion in my mind, and I love him to pieces.
We love you too. Thank you. Now, why don't you go on the other side?
Okay, I'll go
Because
there.
you're going to be
Okay.
escorting. There's another man that we need to bring up. And the reason is because he's one of our Hall of Fame classmates too. He represented the 7th Army competing in track all over Europe. Bring up Bob Bauer, please, to the podium. Where's Bob Bauer? Oh, there he is. Okay, so I can't understand this. It says you ran all over Europe for the 5th Army?
Yeah, you had to qualify for 5th Army and then the 7th Army, and then finally it was the all-USOR team.
Bob, a little closer.
I really didn't do much in Germany, but
But you
I
ran.
enjoy it, and the general knows what TDY is. And the general would tell me, you get down to KP, but I never did any of that.
I love it.
And I was in Fort Carson, Colorado for basic, and I loved it because I liked walking in the mountains and so forth.
Well, these 3 gentlemen are going to escort Coach to the banner, and you're going to stand in front of the chair, because if you get wobbly, you can sit down on the chair. And these guys are going to help you, okay? So if you gentlemen would escort him, I'll take part in the next, okay? Yeah, you go up right up front. They're going to escort you. Or if you are a veteran, when you hear your song, you stand up, and you got a minute and 30 seconds to get up here. We're going to form an upside down V. Coach is the top of the V. So that's the way it's going to work. I'm going to plug the video in now. When you hear your song, you get up and hop up here. I was a barracks chief, and I'm going to call you to attention pretty soon. So get ready. Chest out, shoulders back, get ready.